Honey producers, are you working hard or you're working smart? Do you intend to work smarter or you intend to still work harder? Anyways, trust me, while it's very good to work hard, it is essential that you learn how to work smart. Working smart basically means, doing the same thing in a very easier way, and also probably something that will save you time and can give you the same result or better result. That's how it works. So just go with me as I show you the following tips, tricks, and shortcuts that you can actually use to work smarter on your Akai MPC, applicable to all the MPC models. So let's go. Tip number 1, how you can access more on your Akai home screen. Before now, anytime you switch on your Akai screen, most of the time what you get is the demo page that tells you, okay, select one of the demos to proceed. Then you have to go there. Yes, I'm ready, let's go. This is what you see. You have to select, maybe you want to work on empty projects, or you can select most of your demo screen. But let's be realistic, nobody does this anymore. People hardly go, by the time you start working on the device for a long time, you hardly get to select any of the demo. So what you do is you click on empty project, then it takes you to this page. That will take you some seconds to do. Now, what we're looking at is a situation whereby you can easily choose to move straight to the empty page and start your empty project, or you can just go back to where you were working on, or to any project you're working on before, and you can continue from there. So this is how to do that. If you go to your menu, click on settings, go to your project defaults, and you see new project dialog. It defaults to demo when you purchase your product. But if you switch it to off, and then when next you switch on your system, your device, it will basically just go straight to an empty project. But for me, this is what I love to do. I love to leave it at demo, template, and recent. This basically means anytime I switch it on, it will come up and load up the demo page. It will still give me template, and then I still have all my recent jobs that I've done. So I can click on any one and launch it right straight from there. So let me show you how it works. Now we've done the setting. If I switch off the device, and then I try to switch it back on, you will see what comes up on the screen. The difference is clear. So just give it a little time. It's booting on. Yes, let's do that. I'm actually currently powered on battery. That's why it will ask me to click a button to start. You can also choose to disable or enable that from your settings. But I like to do that so it lets me know when my device is plugged or not. As you can see, this is a new screen, different from the one we had before. Now I have all my projects here. I have some demos, and I can select an empty project, or I can even specify a user template. If I have a template enabled already, this basically just takes me straight there, and I can still go to empty projects. So if I'm working on anything here before and I want to just go there, all I need to do is click on it, and it saves me a lot of time and energy. Tip number 2, we're talking of your button tab. Let's say, for example, you want to go to your menu, you want to browse a file. You click on menu, you click on browse. Check out the number of seconds it took you to do that. Click on menu, click on browse. You want to go to grid. From here, you click here to go to grid. You go to your main, and then you go to grid. If you want to check your sampler, you click on menu, then you go to sampler. What if I told you that most of these buttons that have second functions, instead of you to press shift, a good example, if you want to use your note repeat, you want to latch it, you have to click on shift and then you latch it. But most of those things that you can actually do by using shift to operate them, you can basically just double tap the button to enable that mode. Let's say, for instance, I want to go to browse right now. I don't need to go to menu and click on browse. From the main page, I can double tap menu. It takes me straight into the browse folder. If I want to check the grid from this main, you can see underneath we have grid. Double tap, it takes me to the grid. If I want to go to sampler, from where I'm right now, I can double tap on the mix. Straight, I'm in the sampler mode. And then if I want to do sample edit, from where I am on the menu, I double tap. It takes me straight to the sample edit. So double tap on most of these buttons will basically just help you to go straight into their second function. I'm on bank A right now. If I double tap, it takes me to bank E. I'm on bank B here. If I double tap, it takes me to bank F. So double tap works a lot. Tip number 3, to work smarter, we're talking of menu shortcuts using your pads. So just in case you do not know, if you come to menu here, by now, if you are a conversant user of your device, you will agree with me that you can easily see all of your controls here. It's kind of like a grid. It's also laid out in 16, just as you have your 16 pads here. So what that means is if I want to access quick edit, instead of me to click on menu and click on Q-Link edit, while I'm in the main, I can hit menu and tap this. and it's taking me straight to the Q-Link edit. If I want to browse while I'm in the main, I can press menu and pad 16 and straight up inside the browse. Do you understand? So if I'm in menu and I want to do my looper, I can just basically press my menu and then I hit this. It takes me straight to the looper. So your menu button and any of this pad number is also equivalent to your grid that you have on your screen here. It can help you to work smarter. Tip number 4, we're talking about the folder shortcut. So here in folder shortcut, basically what it means is a good example. Let's say you are trying to load a project. So let me double tap now to go into my menu. You're trying to load a project. Let it roll. Anyway, so you're trying to load a project, and right here, most of the time you have to come back, browse and click on projects, and then you now go into that particular project and start. Basically, it takes a lot of work. What you can do is, as you can see here, this folder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They actually come preset with some of the shortcuts, but you can overwrite it. So basically, how do you do that? Let's say I want to ensure, let me come back out. Let's say I want to assign my sample because I frequently visit my sample folder and I want to be able to assign my sample to a particular shortcut. All I do is go into the sample folder itself. Once I am there, I press Shift and then I press 5. What it means now is anytime, anywhere I am within the folder, the moment I press 5, it brings me into the sample folder. So that's basically how to set folder shortcuts. It can actually help you to save time whenever you're working. So assign your samples, assign your project folder, assign anything basically that you've already set up in your device, your folders, assign it to shortcuts, and it will help you to work faster and access your files faster. Tip number 5, we're talking about double tap to select your bank or basically just using your toggle. These are your banks, A, B, C, D. As you can see, like after the new update, anytime you press on the banks, it will show you which of the bank, like it will basically just show, see A. So if you want to select bank E from where you are, double tap. Just like we mentioned earlier, it will take you straight to bank E. But by the time you now select this, you can see it goes back to B from E. What if you want to be able to say, you know what, anytime I toggle it up, I want to be able to access every other one in that particular category. Let's say E, F, G, H. And anytime I'm here, I basically want to go through A, B, C, D. But once I tap to this new mode, I want to go to E, F, G, H. There is actually a way to do that setting. So we'll go to the menu, you hit your settings. Let's go to the project defaults. Let me see. Okay, I think it's okay, let me check general. Yeah, you see inside general, you have bank button press. Now it defaults to select AD, but if you tell it to select and toggle bank, what this does is once it's on select and toggle bank, right now because I'm on E, if I press F, as you can see, I'm going back to F, G and bank H. And if I tap again, it takes me back to A. I can roll through B, C, D. So if I double tap and I'm already on E, it will not go back to B when I press the second one. It just runs through F, G, H. That can help you to save some time when you're trying to basically just run through your pads and the banks. Tip number 6, how to control your audition length. I noticed that sometimes when you're trying to audition WAV file, some of them might be usually very long and they can be annoying when you're trying to audition and it's very long. You just want to hear like some little bit of it. The audition length by default is about 30 seconds. As you can see, inside general, audition autoplay is on 30 seconds. And that's why majority of that particular WAV file or your loop will play for a very long time before it stops. You can actually control it from here. If it's too long and it's too annoying, just keep it maybe like at 5 or 10 seconds maximum. Mostly I use 5 because at least within that time I already know I want to use it or I don't want to use this. So this will basically just help you when you go back now to your mode and then you try to basically load a project or load any of those your files. After 5 seconds, it basically just stops and that helps you a lot better to work. Tip number 7, we're talking about how to load all your samples at once instead of having to load them one by one. This is what you need to know. Most of the time, maybe like you have all the samples you want to work with or you want to use in that particular project, you want to put everything into your browse folder at once so you can access it. But for now, majority of the people just think, oh, all they can do now is load it one by one. But if you already have your project or the files you want to use everything in one folder, you can load all at once. This is how to do that. Come to your menu and let's say I am inside this folder. Let me go to maybe synths and I want to load everything that is inside. Let me go out of here. I want to load something that is simple that might not cause Okay, so let me say I want to load everything in this direct in onto my particular web browser that I'm working on right now. If I open it and all I can see is load here, that means I can only load them one by one. But instead of me to open it, I just go back to that particular folder and make sure I am on the folder. And while I'm on the folder, all I do is hit shift. Once I hit shift, you can see load turns to load all. Shift load becomes load all. And then once I click on load all, it loads everything. So if I come to sample assign, you can see all the files I've loaded. Everything is there. Tip number 8, we're talking about how to drag and drop your files onto your pads. Before now, if you want to actually assign your project, you want to assign files to your pad. Basically, this is how you do it. You go to menu, let's say you go to browse, which actually you can basically just double tap to get to your browse anyway. And then you come here. Let me load some things from, let me load some samples in. Let me shift and load all. Once I've loaded all, I can see all the samples here. So I want to assign it here. Basically what we do before is we tab and then we select and then we hit enter. Then I tab the second one, I select the next one and I hit.
But when it comes to work.
But what you can basically just do is strictly, you can actually drag and drop. This is a multi-touch screen. So you can just drag and drop it. You can drag and drop it. You can drag and drop. And that is how you get your work done faster. That saves you time. Tip number 9, let's talk about the autosave feature. I'm actually not a fan of autosave for the fact that most of the time, when you set that time to a very short time, anytime you are working on your project, you'll be remembered consistently to try and save, and it locks you out of everything you are doing, and on it until the saving is done, you will not be able to continue. Sometimes it pisses me off because maybe I'm just like, I might have been in that groove, in that zone, and I want to work, and then autosave comes up and just tells me I have to pause until the saving is complete before I can continue. But then I'll still show you how to enable your autosave, just in case you don't want to bother about saving your work. If you do not do anything new to the project, it will not need to save. But if you want to touch anything new, autosave is enabled. So how do you get to autosave? You go into your preference and then you go to your project load and save. In your project load and save, you see this is autosave. Once you enable it, then you'll be able to select your time. There is 2 minutes, there's 5 minutes, there's 10 minutes. 10 minutes is the maximum, and then you have 1 minute. I will advise you, if you want to use autosave, do not put it on maybe like 1, 2, or even 5 minutes. It's okay for you to be annoyed once in every 10 minutes, but you don't want to make that constantly for 1 or 2 minutes. It can actually just slow down your flow. So keep it on that maybe like 10 minutes, and then let the autosave be enabled, and then you are good to go. Anytime you're working, even if you do not save, automatically saves for you after every 10 minutes or after every 5 minutes should you choose. And anytime you have an issue, by the time you're loading it back, trust me, these devices are basically just hardware with software running in them, and anything can happen at any time. They can glitch. It's a matrix. So by the time you're loading it back, autosave will have probably been able to load your last saved progress, and you can continue from there. Tip number 10, Q-Link shortcuts. Anytime you're working on the environment, these pretty knobs, the touch sensitive knobs, they are basically there to act as a shortcut for you, and they are controlled by this Q-Link. So the reason why this light is here is because this is the first bar, because this Q-Link, this 4 that you have here, is actually representing 16 parameters. So the light is on here because you have these 4. When you click on the Q-Link, you see another row of information entirely is loaded here. When you click on it to go to the third one, you can see this is current track length and all that. Then when you click on the last one and you move over to you can see this sequence tempo, sequence length. There are different things, but most of the time, if you don't want to stress yourself by going, all through this to check, okay, how do I or where do I get this particular feature that I want to control the current page that I'm on or the current screen that I'm on, it is simple. Press and hold the Q-Link button. If you press and hold the Q-Link button temporarily and just hold it, it will show you the entire Q-Link, the entire 16. And what happens is you'll be able to see what each of those rows can do for you when you enable them. You can use that one to know what the Q-Link would do for you at that particular screen. Make sure it's always enabled to screen, because you are trying to know what Q-Link shortcut is available on that particular screen that you're working on. So while we're on the main, if you click and hold the Q-Link, this is what you get. As you can see, program level. And then another thing you need to notice is while your Q-Link is vertical, it actually will show horizontally on some of your MPC devices. So you have your program level, playhead, metronome, and the metronome level on this first one. If I move to the second one, you can also see that the light here moved to the second one. And on this second one, that's where you have, as you can see, you have your time correct, time division, swing, and the time correct setting. If I move to the third one, don't mind me. Anytime you move here, this one is a bit delayed. It will not move until you move. But right now you can see it's on red. The red is on the third line, the third arrow. So you can see now. So, and that's basically what works. So that is just how for you to know how to quickly, what exactly all this Q-Link does and how you can access them faster. Your Q-Link edit, you can jump in right directly there and do more editing. If you want to know what happens, if you come back to your main, you hold your Q-Link, you want to know what the Q-Link does for the part parameter. You click on it, you see it's different. For the part scene, for the program, and for the entire project, this is what your Q-Link does. You can edit from here, and you can basically just try to memorize what your Q-Link does for each of your projects. So there you have it. As you can see, you might say, oh, these are just basic things and all that, and it won't take much of your time to just do. But what you've been doing before, if you apply all these shortcuts, it's going to save you some seconds off your minute, and then some minutes off your hours. And that is basically what's essential right about now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and then we'll see you in the next one.